Welcome back to our Should You Read series, this one being The Little Book That Still Beats the Market by Joel Greenblatt. The question is, what's in the book? For the chapters dedicated, number 1 talks about the intro to business pricing. Number 2 is about saving money. Number 3 is where to put savings. Number 4 is the difficulty of valuing a business. Number 5 is a good company at bargain prices. Number 6 is the magic formula introduction. Number 7 is the back testing of the magic formula. Number 8 is why most people can't stick to formula investing. Number 9 is return on capital's importance. Number 10, Mr. Market's influence. Number 11, picking individual stocks. Number 12, mutual and index funds. And number 13, there are no guaranteed results. As usual, we're starting off with what I didn't like about the book. And the first part is that it has a weird vibe when talking about magic formulas. Formula-based investing is following rigid guidelines and procedures to pick investments. This gets a little weird when he says that his formula is the magic formula, that's the best, and why it's so obviously the best. Number 2 is it self-promotes his website inside the book. And I totally get wanting to put your own website inside of other content that you have, but I know that some people get really upset whenever people put their own promotions of things inside of something that they already have. For point number 3, it doesn't talk about the shortcomings of using the formula investing style, and only talks about the good points. For something as important as a person's life savings, I would have wanted an explanation of good and bad points to using this. It only talked about why it's good. Now we'll get into what I liked about the book. First point is that the connections and progression while reading was very fluid. It was pretty well put together. There was a continuous idea and example which progressed to explain more complicated ideas throughout. It starts with the kid selling candy and gum in school and how it complicates itself as it gets bigger and bigger. The second point that I liked was that it provides strong points on what makes a good company. During the progression stages, the book gives excellent points on why earnings yield and return on capital are so important and focused on in this book. And number 3, it was a short, concise book. There isn't much fluff that I see in some other books that I read. Since this is part of the Little Book series, it tries to compact information. From start to finish, it only took about 2 hours. Now we'll get into what in my opinion are the best chapters in the book. For our top 3, I have the number 1 chapter being Chapter 1, the Introduction to Business Pricing. Number 2 would be Chapter number 5, A Good Company at Bargain Prices. And my third best chapter in the book goes to Chapter 9, Return on Capital's Importance. So for starters, our third best chapter, the Return on Capital's Importance, the main idea is why return on capital matters so much and what having a high return on capital says about the company's quality. For the second best chapter, the Good Company at Bargain Prices, the main idea is why a high earnings yield is important and what gives a company a high earnings yield. But what I felt was the best chapter overall is chapter number 1, the Introduction to Business Pricing, where the main idea is just welcome to the world of business and that even a kid can start and run a business. But the question really is, how does it grow further and stronger? And what's it worth? What is it about the business that makes it worth buying into or buying shares of the company? But as usual, it's not a series about should I read this book. The question is, should you read The Little Book That Still Beats the Market? People this book is for is someone that's looking for a formula-based investing style. I wouldn't say that you should only read one formula-based investing style and stick with that. If you were really truly hard set on finding a formula-based investing style, you should really be looking at multiple styles and then deciding for yourself which one you like the most, or altogether avoiding them. A person wondering how businesses start and grow, and why this connects to stocks. And finally, investors wanting to learn about earnings yield and return on capital at an easy to understand basic level. People who this book might be for. Someone that wants an investing perspective talking about formula-based investing. and an explanation on why focusing on return on capital and earnings yield is so important, over all other factors. Who is this book definitely not for? It's definitely not for people who are heavily experienced investors who have already been picking their own stocks for years. People who want to dig deep into a company's performance and future outlook. And anyone who dislikes formula investing styles. If you like picking your own stocks, knowing what you own, and keeping it in your portfolio forever, this is not the book for you. So if you're interested in reading, I have a link for this book in the description down below. If you've watched the video all the way to the end, hitting the like button is a great way to show how much you enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend doing so to stay up to date on this series and other series that I'll be doing in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.